Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Boyveld and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. So again, if you missed the news, they are moving the premiere of Ahsoka up. Instead of it dropping in the middle of the night on Wednesday, August 23rd, at least in the US, it would be the middle of the night. Now it is coming out on Tuesday, August 22nd, still with a 2-episode premiere at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So let's talk about what we've been seeing in the YouTube videos that the official Star Wars channel has been dropping, and stuff that's also been showing up on social media. One of the most recent ones that is particularly fascinating has the title Dual Lightsaber on YouTube, and it's one of the first, if not the first, extended clips that we've had from the Ahsoka series. So every little teaser and trailer and commercial and social media clip have been montage-y related stuff. This is the first one I think I've seen that is an extended, straight through situation. So it combines the scenes that we've seen of Hera flying the Phantom 2 with Chopper on board, and meanwhile Ahsoka is fighting those lightsaber droids, and also Marok, the seemingly still alive Inquisitor situation. As far as we know, it's an Inquisitor. We just don't know what number brother or sister this person is. And this is the first time we've seen that these scenes are actually linked together. And whatever's happening there, we can also then tie into other scenes we've seen where, as Ahsoka is running and as the Phantom is flying away, there's some giant conflagration that's happening at ground level. So that's one of the major ones. And by the way, I will link to the playlist of all the Ahsoka videos at the blog post for this show's episode at sw7x7.com and in the show notes as well. So you can check out all those videos. Most of them are only about a minute and a half. There's one that's like 7 minutes long that's about sort of a legacy of master and apprentice storytelling within Star Wars. And speaking of that, there is a line from Ahsoka in one of these videos where she talks about how when the stakes are high, it takes a master and an apprentice to defeat an enemy. And there's another line where she talks about saying, "I'm not here to discuss my past," which is a very intriguing line, of course. There's another thing, and I think it's in the Master and Apprentice video, where Dave Filoni is talking about Ahsoka and the development of the character, and George Lucas, saying that she's going to be Anakin's Padawan, and Dave Filoni is saying, well, Anakin didn't have a Padawan, and George Lucas just replying, yeah, Anakin had a Padawan. And so it was just like, oh, that's it. There's the canon for you. And so they go on to talk about how Star Wars is so much of Star Wars is about this master and apprentice relationship, about mentorship happening through the generations, and we are going to see the same thing with Ahsoka and Sabine, that she is taking on a she is taking on a mentorship role to Sabine, also she. We do see little elements of their training. We see them fighting with sticks, and Ahsoka saying, let's go again, after she's knocked Sabine down. And we get an idea of how it's all the more important that training stuff like this is happening, because we have another video where Baylan Skoll, Ray Stevenson, is shown in hologram saying that there are so few Jedi left and that she is coming, quote unquote, which is very likely referring to Ahsoka. And we have it from other situations that Baylan Skoll is an ally to Grand Admiral Thrawn, so it's probably fair to think that he's either speaking to Thrawn or to Morgan Elspeth. And speaking of that, there's a situation that we've seen with that sort of open space with a bunch of stone columns that then has a big holographic map projection situation, and Baylan and Ahsoka fight there at one point, but we also see Morgan Elspeth and other people looking at maps and whatnot. And in one of these videos, we see Baylan Skoll with a bunch of sort of droid looking characters, kind of like the ones that were hanging out with Merrick in that shipyard situation fighting Ahsoka. And he says, hunt them down, presumably referring to Ahsoka and Sabine, because in the background you can kind of see foresty stuff, and it makes it seem like the forest confrontation scenes that we've seen with Sabine facing off against Shin Hati and Ahsoka fighting Marek and all these other characters running through the forest, that these two things are happening on the same planet in the same location. And I don't think we had necessarily been able to make that connection previously. And those, I think, are the big highlights for new stuff that we have learned thanks to the videos that the fine folks at Lucasfilm have been posting on the Star Wars YouTube channel, with one particular exception, and that's kind of a notable one, and we're going to talk about that on tomorrow's episode. But that's going to do it for today, and it just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for this episode, as always, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.